This is the Toy Dolls. 45 years of
45 RPM.
Hello again, Olga.
Hi, Ronan.
Good to see you.
You too.
October 1987, a strange thing happened. Your song Yul Brynner Was a Skinhead was released as part of a giveaway EP with a magazine called Beat of the Street.
All right.
Now, it's difficult to pin you down and say, do you remember any of this? Because I think it happened pretty much without your approval or anything like that. But it was, nevertheless, it was a single release of sorts. I was wondering what your memories are of writing the Yul Brynner song.
Right. I mean,
how did it come about initially?
I can't remember the release. I think I've always been a Yul Brynner fan, you know, and from The King and I and all that. And I just thought, you know, once on the television they said there was this skinhead actor, and I thought, he's not a skinhead, you know, and that's why I thought he hasn't got Dr. Martin shoes and all this kind of thing. Yeah, and the tattoo that. So I just like combine the two with the skinhead and the Yul Brynner.
It's a song that the rhymes within the lyrics are very, very neat and very funny. And I bring up the word funny really because it's part of a wider discussion here. You've often talked about treading a fine line in your music between producing material that's cleverly amusing on the one hand versus overdoing it with stuff that might be considered comedy in a less positive way. How do you view this now, and how do you manage to hit the right balance in your
very, very difficult. You know, you haven't got the right lyrics for it to be laughed at. You know, the laugh along with is a little bit different. You know, so it's a fine line between being witty and being comedy. It's like I'm not really a comedy fan, to be honest. Like when you watch it, you said this is a comedy horror. How can you have a comedy horror? How can you have comedy punk? It just doesn't make sense to me. But I like to have the witty lyrics that look on the brighter side of life rather than being ha 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 and being laughed at. So it's difficult, you know. And you know, we're not the Barron Knights or the Grumbleweeds or anything, you know. But it's nice, you know, you look at the witty side of things like Steve Marriott did in Small Faces and that. I think it's difficult, but it's manageable.
And I think they're also, I mean, leaving aside the lyrics for a minute, there's also the kind of light and shade things. Decker's Drinking Dilemma is a very witty song, you know, and Decker loves it, of course. But there's also kind of a bit of harder message, isn't there? About
because he nearly died with it.
Yeah. So it's
he's still drinking, by the way. He's still drinking.
Oh well, of course. Aren't we all? But it's I suppose it's finding the balance there, isn't it?
Yeah,
and more of it lyrically. Actually, you and I were talking about this morning. Writing your lyrics and using dictionaries, rhyming dictionaries, all these kinds of things. It's quite a task, isn't it, to find, if you want the tone to be quite an amusing thing. Yeah, you know, trolling through.
It really is, because you write something down, you're thinking, that's laughable. It's not meant to be that. It's meant to be witty. So you've got to scrap that, and there's a borderline. Yeah, you know, you kind of cross that line.
Yeah, and do you think your views towards this have changed? I mean, early doors when you were writing your first songs, you might have been less concerned about it.
No, I was always concerned about it. I mean, it's just certain things, you know, with the PC thing lately, you can't use words that I would have used in the past. Sure, you know, because it's more of a restriction. But no, I've always had this in mind all the time, right from the beginning.
I think it's true to say that the public, you know, the record buying and the folk who attend your conferences, you've got your concerts and everything else. I think people are a lot less concerned than you are about this. People like the rhymes in particular. Yeah. And I mean, the half rhymes, we were joking about this earlier on, but I took the path up to the calf. Yeah. Edril, where he stood there. Yeah. Genius. I mean, it's, you might not think it's a big deal, but it's something that people remember.
Yeah. I like that kind of thing. Yeah.
If not comedy, you know, it's a distinctive shade of humour, let's call it.
Yes, it is.
And Yul Brynner was also, from this release, Yul was also an example of a song that produced one of a long line of onstage props. Yeah. You had the cutout of Yul Brynner's image on the stage. I was wondering how you come up with the ideas for these things, because it might seem a little bit random. Only certain songs have a...
Yeah, of course you've got to prize these ideas out yourself. You've just got to write the set list up first and then think, is anything that we can shove on the stage or introduce. You don't always need them. I think there was obviously used the Yul Brynner Skinhead thing that we put on. I used to put on. That was like an obvious choice. But at that, we played in Leipzig and we had the Yul Brynner thing cut out model with the DMs on and the braces and everything. And the Skinhead jumped on stage and smashed it to smithereens. So had a different view on it.
Can't really win there.
Yeah, so we lost it then. I think it's just nice to keep little things, little bits of props every now and again, not too much.
And the champagne bottle with...
We've been doing that for too long. We've got 3 of them now. I get a little one, the bigger one, and the giant one comes on.
For the Lambrusco.
So if anybody got any ideas for a new idea for that song...
We'll put our heads together over a bottle of whiskey or something. And do you have a favourite prop, do you think, from those on stage items that you've done over the years?
Not a prop, but I think I like the spinning guitars thing.
Sure. I think we've got a question on that later on.
Right.
Yeah. So this Yul Brynner was a skinhead, beat of the street thing. It's the sort of thing you don't really see nowadays. Of obviously the giveaways with magazines and stuff.
Well, no, I mean I did get one giveaway, Slim Whitman.
Okay.
That was a magazine with a Slim Whitman Rosemary or something. I couldn't think about it. It was 1982. It's quite a long time.
A fair while back.
So you don't see them often.
Yeah, and it's not something you would necessarily object to. It's it's something that happens.
Yeah.
Presumably you didn't see £1 million from that release though.
Well, about 500 grand, I think it was. That was it.
That's fair enough. Yeah, that buys you a curry and a new Rolls Royce, doesn't it? Okay, Olga. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Ronan.